Yo, what's up, guys? It's Benny. JD Vance swore in Marco Rubio, and the two of them clearly have a really good relationship. They both hit the trail working for President Trump and are working in his administration. I would argue that the two of them are absolutely the MVP and most improved player, probably, of the Trump administration. Nonetheless, there's a lot of rumors going around as to what's going to happen in the future. And JD Vance just did a podcast, and Donald Trump just said something this week that sort of shows their hand. I'm not sure if this is going to come as breaking news, but obviously it's impolite to talk about, hey, I'm going to run for president, hey, I'm going to run for this office, and to sit there and look sort of like a political animal and project what you want to do with your life. It's a lot more traditional and a lot more polite to just say, you know what, I got a job right now. I got a job at hand. Nothing's been announced. We're just going to move on and let the cards and the chips fall where they may. Now, here's where it gets interesting. For the first time ever, JD Vance has straight up said that Donald Trump is asking me to run for president. And you'll see it. He almost catches himself here, but he just straight up says it. Listen, Trump and I had a lunch, and Trump straight up said, not only should I run for president, but he suggested who should run with me. Here we go.
How do you feel about that? And have you talked to the Secretary Rubio about it?
I've joked with the secretary about it. So the president first raised this with me probably 6 months or so ago,
right?
During just one of our private lunches that we try to get lunch every couple of weeks just to catch up on what's going on and talk about things. He mentioned it probably 6 months or so ago, and I mentioned to the secretary in jest, but it feels so premature because we're still so early. And what I always say to people is, if we take care of business, the politics will take care of itself. And we're 9 months into this thing. We've done a lot of good. There's a lot more work to do because, look, the thing that I most worry about is that Biden left us a terrible affordability crisis. We've got to make life more affordable for American citizens. Again, we've chipped away at that problem, but there's a lot more work to do there. So my attitude is, the American people elected me to be vice president. I'm going to work as hard as I can to make the president successful over the next 3 years and 3 months. And if we get to a point where something else is in the offer, let's handle it then. But let's at least get through the next couple of years and do good work for the American people before we talk about politics.
The president doesn't mention who will be running for president and who vice president. Now, everyone assumes it would be you, but Marco Rubio is 13 years older. He's run for president before. Would there be any tension there?
First of all, no, there's not going to be any tension. Marco is my best friend in the administration. He and I work a lot together.
Right.
And we really do, I think, a lot of the good work that we've been able to do as an administration is because we're all able to work together. And again, this is why I say worrying too much about the politics actually, I think, makes you worse at the job that you have. I never want to wake up. And so far, I've never woken up and thought to myself, how do I make myself president of the United States? What I wake up and think to myself is, how do I do a good job as vice president? And I think Marco Rubio asks himself, how do I do a good job as Secretary of State? And that should be the question that each of us keeps on asking ourselves.
Then, you can hear that JD Vance tells Miranda Devine this. Miranda Devine has a great new podcast, Pod Force One, smart name. And jealous of the name. But you can see JD Vance is like, wait a second, I better pull this back into sort of a political answer here. And that's what he does. Trump, not so much. Trump on the jet heading to Asia this week said, yo, I want it to be JD Vance and I want it to be Marco Rubio. They're going to be unstoppable. Here we go.
Sir, Steve Bannon said in a recent interview that there could be plans for you to be able to run and potentially win a third term in 2028. Is that something you'd be willing to challenge the court to be?
Well, I haven't really thought about it. We have some very good people, as you know, but I have the best poll numbers I've ever had. I just solved 8 wars and a 9th is coming. I believe Russia, Ukraine will happen.
You said that for 2028, there are very good people.
Well, we have great people. Well, I don't have to get into that, but we have one of them standing right here. We have JD, obviously, the vice president is great. I think Marco's great. I think, I'm not sure if anybody would run against us. I think if they ever formed a group, it would be unstoppable. I really do. I believe that. I would love to do it. I have my best numbers ever. It's very terrible. I have my best numbers. If you read it, am I not ruling it out? You'll have to tell me. All I can tell you is that we have a great group of people, which they don't. They have Jasmine Crockett, a low IQ person. They have AOC's low IQ. You give her an IQ test, have her pass like the exams that I decided to take when I was at Walter Reed. Those are very hard, they're really aptitude tests, I guess, in a certain way, but they're cognitive tests. Let AOC go against Trump. Let Jasmine go against Trump. I don't think Jasmine, the first couple of questions are easy. A tiger, an elephant, a giraffe, you know. When you get up to about 5 or 6, and then when you get up to 10 and 20 and 25, they couldn't come close to answering any of those questions.
This is certainly not the only time that JD's been asked about this, and it's certainly not the only time that President Trump has spoken about it. Trump has often floated this. He's also floated himself running for a third term, so I guess it, kind of goes where the question, where he wants to go with these questions. But I would say, as a bit of a reminder, and I actually was quite interested in watching this, that this campaign trail, if indeed this does materialize into a ticket, is gonna be a total and complete barn burner. Obviously, President Trump sucks up all the oxygen when he's on the campaign trail, but it's JD Vance and Marco Rubio who went in sort of over the top multiple times to make big announcements and to rally up the crowd. What I'm saying here is that they can do it. People are like, JD Vance has only run for Senate one time, is he really like that good on the stump? Marco Rubio, he ran for president, he didn't win, like not even close, right? In 2016, he didn't come, he didn't win, they got blown out. But that doesn't mean they don't have chops, okay? So here we go. Here's we put together a little sizzle of the two of them and sort of like blend it together, show you what might be coming down the pipeline. Here we go.
Here's, George, why fewer and fewer people watch your program and why you're losing credibility. Because you're talking for now 5 minutes with the Vice President of the United States about this story regarding Tom Homan, a story that I've read about, but I don't even know the video that you're talking about. Meanwhile, low-income women can't get food because the Democrats and Chuck Schumer have shut down the government. Right now, we're trying to figure out how to pay our troops because Chuck Schumer has shut down the government. You are focused on a bogus story. You're insinuating criminal wrongdoing against a guy who has done nothing wrong instead of focusing on the fact that our country is struggling because our government's shut down. Let's talk about the real issues, George. I think the American people would benefit much more from that than from you going down some weird left-wing rabbit hole where the facts clearly show that Tom Homan didn't engage in any criminal wrongdoing.
It's not a weird left-wing rabbit hole. I didn't insinuate anything. I asked you whether Tom Homan accepted $50,000, as was heard on an audio tape recorded by the FBI in September 2024, and you did not answer the question. Thank you for your time this morning.
No, George, I said that I don't.
Up next, we'll be right back.
In the case of El Salvador, absolutely. Absolutely. We deported gang members, including the one you had a margarita with. And that guy is a human trafficker, and that guy is a gangbanger, and the evidence is going to be clear in the days to come. You're going to see who you went to defend.
Senator,
I'm sorry,
please,
Mr. Chairman.
Secretary
No.
Rubio has the floor.
Mr. Chairman, he can't make unsubstantiated comments like that.
Secretary Rubio has the floor. You've had
Secretary
your time.
Rubio should take that testimony to the federal court
Senator,
of the United States because
Well,
he hasn't done it under oath.
Here's another point, okay? There is a division in our government between the federal branch and the judicial branch. No judge in the judicial branch cannot tell me or the president how to conduct foreign policy.
Been, poking some fun at the absurdity of the Democrats themselves. I mean, I'll tell Hakeem Jeffries right now, I make this solemn promise to you that if you help us reopen the government, the sombrero memes will stop. And I've talked to the President of the United States about that. Now, to your first question, are we negotiating one-on-one? Are we negotiating in groups? Look, I will go to the U.S. Capitol right now and meet with Chuck Schumer or any Senate Democrat if it helps us reopen the government. Most of the conversations, my experience at least, have been...
When I joined the administration early on, they said, one of the initiatives that we're pursuing is to increase efficiency in government. In essence, they want to be able to do more while, spending less or putting less. And for example, they said, one of the things we want you to look at is consolidation. Can you take, for example, what today are 4 jobs and just give them all to one person? And I said, that sounds like a great idea. We should do that all across the government. Little did I know they just meant me. But it is an honor to be here tonight on behalf of the National Archives. to speak to all of you. And so it's great to stand here. As I said, it's always flattering to receive an award and be recognized. You were Speaker, you were a member of the Senate, you were the chairman of this, you're now Secretary of State and the National Security Advisor and the acting archivist and the acting USAID director. So it's always great to, and the Surgeon General. No, I'm kidding. I'm not that. Nah. I wanted it. You get a uniform. Do you know you get a uniform if you're a Surgeon General? I wanted it, but they had given it away. You know what would be good is Library of Congress. That would be a good job. Acting librarian Mario Diaz-Balart. Do you want it? But all kidding aside, the
problem is not that Kamala's campaign was too short, it's that it was too long. That when people actually listened to what she had to say, her polling went down and down and down. I think that if we had a 150-day campaign, we probably would have had 3 additional Republican senators, and Donald Trump would have won by an even bigger landslide, because the more people know about Kamala Harris, the more they realize there's no substance there. I mean, agree or disagree with Barack Obama or Bill Clinton, they actually had substance. They could actually articulate a viewpoint. I listened to Kamala Harris for 90 seconds, and I actually feel like I've gotten dumber in the process, and I have no idea what she actually believes. That's the problem with Kamala Harris, and it's going to continue to be her problem unless she actually learns how to develop a viewpoint, articulate it for the American people. Just say what you actually believe. Don't do this word salad, talking around in circles. It doesn't work, and it's why she didn't win.